What's up? How you doing? Having a great day? That's fantastic. In today's episode of the Success Lessons in Pop Culture, we're going to talk about the Toronto Raptors. I know everybody's going crazy right now, literally around the world. You don't have to be Canadian to love the fact that the Toronto Raptors just won the NBA championship yesterday, and I'm super ecstatic. Being a basketball fan my whole life, this is a huge monumental thing, and today we're going to talk about how did the Toronto Raptors have the success they've had last night, but also this year. And growing up, I played basketball a lot. If you guys know me personally, I'm 5'0". So at a young age, I realized going professional was not gonna happen, but I played basketball, wanted to be a pro. Michael Jordan was a huge inspiration in my life growing up, still is today for being the GOAT, the greatest of all time. But growing up, I remember playing, I lived on Moy in Windsor, Ontario, right off of Wyandotte Street. And I remember being 5-6 years old playing with the blue recycle bins because I didn't have a basketball net. Literally had a basketball, had the large blue recycle bin. And I remember for years playing basketball with that, having this huge desire to go pro, just being so inspired by, Michael Jordan. So growing up watching basketball my whole life, not religiously, I'm not a huge fan and know everybody's stats and all that stuff like some fans out there, but I'm a pretty big fan. Seeing the Toronto Raptors win, I started analyzing how they do it. How did the Toronto Raptors go from being one of the worst teams, never making the playoffs, and then when they did make the playoffs, being knocked out the first round, whether they had Vince Carter or Chris Bosh, didn't really matter. They just never were good. They were a terrible team. How did they do it? And the success lesson is persistence. They're one of the organizations that's been in the NBA for a long time, 25 years. I believe it's in the mid-90s. They became a team, and year after year, just struggle, terrible, performance, just no success at all, could never really break through, that first round of the playoffs when they even did get into the playoffs. But persistence was what the fans had, the organization had, the players had, the whole community of the Toronto Raptors had persistence for all these years, and that is how they became the NBA champions. Now, a lot of people, they look at success as something that happens overnight. We hear stuff like, overnight success or overnight celebrity and all this craziness. But really, if you look behind the scenes, most organizations, people that become very successful, they literally do this because behind the scenes, they struggle, but they have persistence. One of the best examples outside of the Toronto Raptors is Apple computers. Apple computers nobody had an Apple. Nobody had an Apple computer. Nobody had a Mac. Nobody for like decades. And then out of nowhere, because of persistence, they come out with the iPod and revolutionized the music industry, then the iPhone revolutionizing the cell phone industry. But persistent is something that a lot of people overlook, and they don't understand that just because you don't see success right now doesn't mean it's not going to happen. So congratulations to all of the Toronto residents who are probably the most excited right now. Congratulations to the Toronto Raptors. And if you're somebody that is trying to have success, whatever the situation is, understand persistence is one of the key things that will set you apart, because most people, most organizations, most businesses just do not have persistence, and that is why they don't succeed. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next episode.